Hey, this is Seth with In Demand Career. I show people how to get life-changing jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education. And that includes my very special guest today, Jeysson, who was working a number of terrible low-paying jobs for many years before he found my course, and is now making $60,000 a year working at a fantastic company doing paid search. So I'm very excited to share his story with you. Thanks for being here, Jeysson.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I always look at your videos all the time, and finally, I'm here.
Yeah, you are. That's awesome. I hear that again and again. And it's great to be talking with you, man, because, it's said if you put in the work, this skill set is so powerful, you can get these kinds of results. So on that note, why don't you tell people a little bit about your current job and what you're doing and what you're making?
Yes, right now, working for Dental Media, which is also my client is Microsoft. Doing paid search. So I'm doing different varieties of accounts right now. Right now working for Microsoft Teams, which I'm actually marketing for them right now as well. And now it's a new one that I have a new account recently that I'm working on, which is called Microsoft Cloud Sustainability. Basically, it's a program that's gonna be looking into your trying to have zero net, renewable energy. And that's what I'm pushing at right now as well. And yeah, man, it's working for Microsoft is crazy as well for me, and they gave me these budgets. And yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting for me working with awesome people in my job. Honestly, they have the patience, they have the drive, they have the motivation, in what they're doing as well. And there's always a training. They help you out no matter what. I think nobody stays behind in what they're doing, especially in my job, what they're doing. But yeah, man, it's awesome what I'm doing. I'm grateful to land this job.
I'm really happy for you. And it sounds like an incredible work environment. And about how much are you making?
60K right now as well. And it's always ramping up once you get experience as being a paid search senior, then you become a leader, and then you become a manager. And there's always opportunities in that as well. And then and yeah, man, it's a blessing. I'll be honest with you. It's a blessing that I for the first time, I would say in my life, I actually, had some job like this actually.
That's so great, man. And so let's see, I can tell people, I know you kind of had a rich work history like I did. And how old are you?
I'm 31.
Yeah, I was 33 when I got into digital marketing, and I also had a lot of like crazy jobs. So why don't you tell people a little about some of the jobs you had before?
Oh man. All right. So man, I could tell you I had so many. I used to work in, I used to work in a gym. I used to work in Radio Shack. I used to work in Staples. I used to work at AT&T. I used to work in as a dental assistant. I used to work in Amazon delivery driver. I think that was my recent role that I was working as a delivery driver. And but yeah, I will say, and be honest with you, it was all of them were terrible.
Right.
I wasn't happy. It's soul crushing. I'll be honest with you. It's they micromanage the hell out of you into everything, and people like to show that authority of power. And I think that it doesn't make any sense of why you showing authority. Instead of being the leader and showing how to manage your work and teaching people how to do their job, they just want to be expressive, being showing authority into people. And I never actually understood that.
Right. You're describing, I mean, a lot of industries can be kind of toxic in their culture, and there's people that have their management position, and especially in these retail jobs, I think a lot of people can relate, like you may have heard my story. I was a pizza delivery driver, waiter, temp jobs, crazy jobs in my 20s and 30s, and my 20s, because I didn't have any skills, or I didn't have any high income skills. So what was I gonna ask you? And do you have a college degree?
I don't have a college degree. I don't have one. Actually, I was thinking about getting one, but I'll be honest with you, I'm glad I didn't. I saved my ass into that. I'll be honest with you. I did not took out a loan. I have a lot of friends. I think it's sad. I'll be honest with you, because I have a lot of my friends who are really into debt in their college, and they're not doing their major that that they're doing. I have one of my friends who's psychiatrist, made like a psychology major, and he's not, into that role. I think that's pretty sad.
What's he doing with his psychology degree or major?
He's working in a hospital, being cleaning floors and being a maintenance, I think that's pretty sad. And I think that's one thing I just don't understand in college for me. I think I had no idea. I thought my life was over at that time when I left college, when I became a college dropout. I thought my life was over. I thought I was like, damn, this is what I'm doing when we working these these dead end jobs. I'm never gonna find a way how I'm gonna make that type of money. But yeah, but the thing is, we have that installed in our minds since we were in elementary school, that that college is the answer, and it's not the answer, honestly. There's more to it. Like you basically said it as well. You're the one advocating as well, saying like there's more to it, but we've been pre-installed since we were kids in elementary school that college is the only answer or else. And I used to hear this from my teachers all the time saying, if you're not going to college, guess what? You're going to be flipping burgers and I'm going to be seeing you over there. And that's what these teachers be saying. So, and that's one thing I always.
Are you flipping burgers? I'm going to interrupt you for a second for this. Are you flipping burgers now?
Oh, no. I'm flipping something else now. So I'm not flipping no burgers.
An ad account for Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm flipping accounts now.
And yeah, man. I mean, I think you said that really well. I was just going to cut you off for a second. I just wanted to speak to what you said, and you're right. It is such an indoctrination, and it is unfortunate to hear like your friend and a lot of people working at these jobs, and they've studied these really irrelevant things. You actually had a really good example, though. You're saying, weren't you were studying to be a medical assistant, but you were in a history class?
Yes, I was doing ancient Rome for medical. And I always thought, no, don't get me wrong. It's, don't get me wrong. I learned a lot in that class, but I think it was a waste of time, to be honest with you. But I always thought, like, why am I in ancient Rome class? Am I going to be thinking about the Romans when I'm taking blood out, or, taking a blood pressure?
Right.
It doesn't even matter to me.
It's really, academia, the academic system is just as inefficient and stupid as government. It's the same type of bureaucratic thing where these people, they put together these systems of learning and teaching. It's so outdated. And they really have this idea. And if you talk to people, they really will say this. And it is like brainwashing. They will say that you're supposed to take those classes because it makes you well-rounded. And I say, listen, someone who learned about the ancient Romans is not more well-rounded person. You get more well-rounded by life experience, interacting with other people, expanding your mind in terms of like human experience, not studying more textbook stuff when you're supposed to be focusing on a skill. And that's what really frustrating a lot of people is they say, oh, we want a culture. It's like, if you're going to school to be a medical assistant or whatever, these humanities classes are not valuable, because what you described, you said you love history. And now, if you want to learn about history, do you have that opportunity?
Of course, I have that on YouTube. Not only YouTube, but I have reliable resources in that. And I'll be honest with you, in history, I also been lied to during my whole course of, educational since elementary to high school. And I was really good in history, honestly. I was really good into that. I skipped the class, I was so good at it. But then I came to find out that everything, most, how it is, most of the history was a lie to me. And I think I learned that on my own, check into reliable sources. In college, I did learn a lot. Yeah.
What you're speaking to is the fact that, there's a lot of debates about this, and I don't like to get too political on the channel.
Yeah, of course.
But what I will speak to is the fact that the public school system buys textbooks from companies that are written by you don't know who. You don't know who wrote them. In fact, I think when I was in school, we realized that like the state of Texas dictates a lot of the textbooks that are bought, because the state of Texas is like the biggest school district in the country. There's a lot of politics involved in terms of what textbooks are purchased by both high schools and colleges. And if you get into the world of textbooks in college, it's so full of corruption, because a lot of these professors are paid off to write textbooks by the companies. And And so the point is, you're not in control of the information that you're consuming. And this idea that you should blindly trust these higher educational institutions is something worth questioning, because now there's access to really good information directly. So the whole point of this is, you were a good student, you did what you were supposed to do, you were told to go to college, and you found out it wasn't true at all, and then you were struggling with all these jobs. So why don't we get into the course? Like, what was it like taking the course? Like, and what I want to know is, like, what was it like to interview at these companies with a work history like that? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. You had like 20 different jobs. You probably quit certain jobs. Were you able to get job interviews? How did the interviews go? Did they ask about that?
Yeah, actually, I had plenty of job interviews, honestly. I'll be honest with you. The job interviews that I had, and mind you, not one of them asked me for a college degree. So that's one of the big pluses that I also had advantage on. And I also had the advantage that I had the work that I did. But I feel like, I don't know what it was, but then I was always in the second or third round. But I think that's it. I don't know what happened, but I was almost there many times. It's just that, I don't know, I did not got the opportunity. Actually, at first, when I got into there, I'll be honest with you, I was going on and off with your course. At first, I think I purchased it around 2019. I'm not sure, around 2019, yeah. So basically, I was going through your whole course. I was taking my time because I actually want to just take my time to, to do, little by little, get to soak it in, have the information really fresh with me as well. Honestly, I think I went to a vacation to DR. I think I kind of forgot about it for 2 whole months. So I went to, back, and I'm like, oh man, I need to, so I got a job in Amazon as a delivery driver. And I was like, let me just, take my time doing this. I created a website and, so in that as well. And the pandemic hit. I had problems with Amazon, I think for speaking out. I think how they treated their workers. I spoke out. I think I'm a type of person. I like to speak out against things that are really wrong, and they got me fired. So I think to me, that was the last straw. I think to me at that moment, I was like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to none of these jobs. I'm not going back to Amazon. I'm not going back to what I was doing, like these dead end jobs. This is something new. I think the pandemic kind of opened my eyes and like, this is it. I took your course 100% from there. I knew I wasn't working. And of course, the unemployment money was there, but at the same time, that was actually giving me, like a security for a moment. I had to move with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. We had to sleep in the hall, small little bedroom at the time, because I had nowhere to go because the whole pandemic stuff happened as well. But yeah, I was taking a course, man. I really took it 100%. I landed myself in an internship. The internship, I learned a lot, like SEO as well, but I wasn't really feeling it too much for SEO. I think my main love was paid search. Yeah. So I definitely took paid search 100%. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but in the in that internship, I used their website, and I try to practice using the website, and I was not supposed to, but that leveraged me a lot more because I had more knowledge in using.
Wait, what do you mean you use the website?
I was using one of them, like, for example, like one of their client, not their client's website, but it was their website, and I was using it as practice. So they didn't know I was using their website just to go, so basically I put in the Google ads, started, doing.
But you're running ads to their website instead of your own site?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just to, yeah.
That's kind of a funny thing to do there are rules about, like, you can't, if they were already running ads, that would have been a problem because you can't have multiple.
Yeah, but they wasn't running ads on there.
But
yeah.
You know what's really funny? I mean, you're bringing them traffic, so I mean, it's almost like
I was bringing them traffic.
Like a funny thing. What did you do? Oh my God, I did this terrible thing. I went to this restaurant and I put all this money in their cash register. Oh my God, I'm terrible. You like brought them traffic. Yeah. I don't think that's a big deal. but
Yeah, I mean, it did brought me knowledge into that. I was like, okay, at least, I did my website, I'm doing their website. So I just wanted to have more experience into
right.
that.
So you generated your experience. You started to take the course seriously, which is something we've heard again and again. Even actually the last person I interviewed, the same thing. They bought the course, they didn't really focus, and then in your case, the pandemic helped you really get focused and knowing this is what you wanted to do. You did the assignments, you got an internship, you got some experience. So what was it like when you actually started applying to the jobs?
Yeah, it was definitely, I was applying, like, I will say every week I was applying like at least 30 or 40, 30 or 40 times actually, applications. I will get back like around every week. I will actually have like 2 to 3 interviews every week. And it was nonstop, man. It was really draining for me because it's like keep going over and over again. You have to, be consistent no matter what in what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I knew
I was going to
yeah,
ask you, I just want to jump in for a second because I mean, it's another thing I encourage you. I don't know if when you took it, I mean, I have updated the interview section because I really want to encourage people to, change their perspective about interviews because it really is a process and you learn something from every interview. And the fact that you're getting interviews, I mean, that was my first question. Like, were you surprised that you were getting interviews in the beginning? I mean, was it exciting? Were you kind of like nervous?
yes. When I got my first interview, I got it like I applied. I was like, okay, I think I know everything what I'm doing. I went to the whole course. I think I'm ready for this. So I applied. Next week I got an interview. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I just got an interview just in 1 week. But like I said, I think this is something that people should know. I think interviewing has a whole different skill. You need to be really well prepared. You need to be really have a great personality. Take over the interview. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Show that you're great. Actually, show that you know your stuff and not bullshit. And I think that's at first I was kind of intimidating because it was all new to me.
Yeah.
And at
Well,
first,
guys, I just want to jump in for 1 second just to clarify, because I know this is a really sensitive topic for most people. Most people are anxious or nervous or intimidated, or you got imposter syndrome. It's totally normal. That's why I've updated the course to really zero in on this. And I think Jim, actually, the guy interviewed before you, had a really good take. What you're saying, I agree with, is that I wouldn't say some of the words you used. I know it can be a bit intimidating to people, especially if you're an introvert, because you think you have to be this like big personality. That's not the case at all. What you just have to do is get to the point where you let your enthusiasm come through, right?
yes,
You let your genuine enthusiasm for the digital marketing stuff you learn come through. And that's what I do in the courses now. There's a lot of mindset, psychological aspects of the training now, where I help you peel away some of those doubts so that you're just able to be yourself in the interview. And what you're describing, especially in the beginning, you're going to have a few where you're anxious or you say something you think maybe is stupid. And by the way, guys, I say this again, that voice in your head is much more critical than any other person will ever be. So you may say something that you think is the dumbest thing that you bombed. Actually, who did I just interview? Oh, I think it was Trent, maybe, who like wrote me an email. He was like, oh, I thought I bombed both. Like, he had 2 interviews that I bombed them both. He got 2 job offers. But in his head, he thought he bombed it. So I just try to say that to be encouraging to you guys, because I know it's difficult. You're going against the grain anyway by not, whether you don't have a college degree or you're taking this online course, you're going to have these internal doubts. And, if you're not an extroverted person, I want you to understand you don't have to be an extroverted person. A lot of people, like even Jim, the guy I interviewed before you, I mentioned him a few times, like he's a very soft-spoken guy. But once you start talking about digital marketing, you light up.
Yeah.
That's what you want. It's genuine nerdiness. And it sounds like maybe initially you didn't have it, but it sounds like over time you were able to let that out in the interviews.
Yeah, because at first I was pretty nervous about it. I'm pretty nervous when I try something new, especially with a new career that I'm doing. So I think for me that was because honestly, the previous jobs I will get it like that. But with something new like digital marketing, I was kind of nervous, and I was like, okay, I have to find a way. How I went to YouTube courses, how to how to, be calm during the interviews, how to speak wellly or anything like that. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. And you always have that, yeah, like you mentioned, you always have that little voice in your heads, and it's like a self-doubt, and this, you know, after the interview, when you finish, you're like, oh my God, I don't know, I don't think I did this right. I don't think I did this good. I don't know. It's normal, it's normal, but always remember that these interviews, no matter what, you keep doing more interviews, it's like practice. You mentioned before, and you're going to get hired no matter what. You're going to get hired. One of these jobs, you're definitely going to get hired. As long as you be consistent, don't give up. I will say that to people, don't give up. And, I doubted myself so many times. I was like, why people are not hiring me? I understand like why, like what it was going on with me. Like, I know I could do this, but it's something happened. I don't know what it was. And so, I got, I will say dental media. I showed them what you taught me. I showed them everything with the spreadsheet. I think with the spreadsheet sold them. And
yeah, guys, this is, and you got, I mean, I don't know where else you interviewed. I mean, this is an incredible company. I've had so many of my students get hired by this. It's one of the biggest agencies on the planet. And that is absolutely correct. I mean, I haven't had, and I've been doing this for 6 years, and everybody's different. Some people get hired in a month. Some people it takes 6-7 months. And you never know exactly why, but sometimes it does just have to do with luck. Sometimes it has to do with your confidence level and the companies that you're talking to. But if you don't give up, that's the main thing. Like I even had some people go negative on me in the beginning when I was doing this a few years ago. Like, I had one kid who was like, it doesn't work. I didn't get a job. And I was like, well, what happened? He's like, well, I had 10 interviews and I didn't get a job. I was like, dude, you got 10 interviews? Are you crazy? This is like, now you got to work on your interviewing skills. But you can't give up. That's the key thing, like you said. But just to let you guys know, if you're watching, whether you're in the course and you may have missed this or you haven't taken the course, I have redesigned the interview section. And what I've done is basically we have a mock interview section in the video where I show people, like I had one of my students, and then maybe I added this after you got your job, or we're in that process. But I have Aditya doing an interview with Angel Nieves, and then Matt Kerr is interviewing someone for PPC. So you get to see like what an interview looks like, along with a lot of questions too, sample questions. But I also, in the training, I basically was like, show you how to put together your script. Yes. Because that's really why people get flustered. It's like anything. If you put an actor, you could have the best actor on the planet, I've even seen some of this. Like you put Robert De Niro or somebody like up in the, on a stage with no script, unless they're an improvisational person, they're going to be just as nervous as anybody else. You need to have a sense of what you're going into and practice it. And then it becomes much more natural. Just like I say, like these interviews and these videos, I wasn't like this fluent on YouTube when I started. I remember like staring at the camera and being like, like you don't know what to do. You just have to practice it. And you also need a little bit of structure. And that's what I put into the course. So, or you go through what you described, which is just practice. So you just, and then you said at Dentsu, when you actually got hired, you showed them the spreadsheet, the project from the course. But what was it? I'm just curious, like in that interview or any interviews that did go well, maybe we should talk about the one where you got the job. What was the conversation like? Like, what was the back and forth? You seem like a really direct guy. Like, what was the vibe? Like, what was it like in the room? Did they ask you about your degree? Did they ask you about your previous jobs?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Honestly, at first, there was a recruiter that hit me up, because I applied to them. It was a 15-minute phone call. I told them, about what I did and how I end up doing digital marketing. And I think she kind of loved what I was doing because I self-taught myself. So, and I think, I definitely had the second interview for that. And the second interview was just, I think it was 4 people, and each one was 30 minutes. So it was a 2-hour interview.
Wow.
So definitely, and it was all at once. And don't get me wrong, honestly, that I was having a bad day, honestly, that day, because they stole my catalytic converter under my car, and I was going through it that day. And I was like, no, stay focused, because you had this interview and I feel like you could get it. So I was like, okay, I could deal with the car later on, but let me deal with this. So
good for you, man. By the way, Don't lose your train of thought. But when I got my first agency job, I actually had a car accident on the way to the interview, and I found that for some of us in life, when if your life isn't working, you're having a challenge. That was me. I was like, my early 30s, my 20s were a disaster, and so like, I'd found this path. I was working this terrible call center job, and I was on my way to this interview, and I was so excited about it. I was ready to change my life, and then this car knocked into me. I might have even knocked into the car. I can't remember, but it was like on the way to the interview, and it took all my focus and energy to just put that out of my head, because I felt like it was almost like subconsciously I was trying to sabotage it in a way. And so I'm really happy that you were able to stay focused, even though you had some difficult thing happen in your life beforehand.
Yeah, terrible. And I was like, you know what, I could get that fixed. Let me just leave it there for a minute. I know it's gonna be expensive, but let me focus on this right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first interview was it was 4 people, and they was telling me basic questions like, for example, like, how was your previous job with the interview that I had before. If I had, it was asking me personality questions, most of it. They just wanted to get to know me, like to see if I could actually fit with them. And I think they love my personality, and I also show them, little, I think it wasn't even that much. It was like a little bit of technical stuff in there as well. And like how I would set up an account, or, what should, basic questions like you were mentioning in the course. And I don't know if they sold this for them, but they told me the last question, they told me, oh, what's your favorite pizza? In what state? And I was like, of course, New York. And I don't know what it was, but they was telling me different, questions, like personality questions. And, definitely for me. And once I show them your spreadsheet, I think for them, that was it. That was it. When I showed them the spreadsheet, there was like, I saw how I added more things into the spreadsheet because I wanted to be really organized. I put a targeted audiences, the budgeting as well. Different things, and I put the ad groups, and I just put so many different things in there, and they saw it. And I'll show them the website that I had as well. I basically ran down. I was really organized in that sort of sense. I was breaking it down for them how I would do it, and yeah, they loved it. And honestly, yeah, I think in a couple of days, in 3 days, they called me and told me, yeah, we have an offer letter for you. And I was in the kitchen just right here. And they told me, yeah, we give you an offer letter, and we were excited to have you in for Dentsu. I was in my phone just like that, about to, like, I can't believe this, like, like it was something crazy. I called my mom, I called my dad, called my wife, my fiance, And yeah, man, it was exciting. I for me, I couldn't believe that I had this, and especially somewhere that's really. And they told me Microsoft. I'm like, of course, So yeah, I took it.
Dude, I am so happy for you. That is so awesome. You said it so well, and I think it's really fantastic. And I have to ask you this now, because you described so many terrible jobs, from the dental assistant to the Amazon delivery driver, a salesperson for AT&T. What's it like at this job for you?
Oh, man. I love every minute of it, man. I'll be honest with you. It's pretty chill. I think for me, the most important thing to me, it was a work-life balance. I never had that in my life. I think with this job, I have the work-life balance. As long as you get the job done, they don't even care. They just, as long as you do your job, you don't care what you do. We could just do not do whatever you want, but like just get your things, get on top, be organized. Like me, my time schedule, I always have I schedule my time and be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I have to do daily pacing, different things that I'm doing. So I have that time, and then I have this time to do, like, for example, if I go to a supermarket or anything like that. And I also have, yeah, it's really, I think for me, the most important thing is the work-life balance, because now I have time for be with my kids. I think that's the most important. Be with my family, do things I never did before, because I wanted to put my son in soccer, and I couldn't even do it because I have this time that I'm able to do. Now with this job, I could do it. So, and yeah, the job honestly is pretty chill. If you have any, if you have any problem or anything, somebody got your back. If
Yeah.
anything,
So let me just ask you, because this is all fantastic. So again, you're working remotely, right?
remotely, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're describing what it's like to work for one of these companies because you're not being micromanaged. You don't have someone breathing down your neck or giving you any trouble. And it sounds like a
No,
very
of course.
supportive, positive environment.
Yeah.
Was there a training period? Where they, or were they, you just kind of handed these accounts?
Yeah, actually for the first month they trained you. So basically you're literally taking the course all over again because they want you to be 100%, ready for this role. So I had to go through it again, and I was like, okay, so let me just do it again right now. I think I kind of needed to Excel because I was having trouble with Excel with formulas and stuff like that. So I got that already. I knocked it down. So yeah, for the first month, you're literally training. And then the second month, it's like they shadow you. So basically they gave you one account. Like right now, they gave me an account for Microsoft Teams, and they see how I worked and they liked it. So now they gave me another account, which I'm having right now. So little by little, they, letting me go and what I'm doing. And yeah, man, I'll be honest with you, whenever you need help with, or, beside, there was different type of softwares that did not work with. I was really understandable in Google and Bing's, but then I had Adobe and, and other things like that as well, which I didn't have no clue about. But yeah, there was it was training me into that, things like that. They trained me into how to properly talk to a client as well, or different things. Because I think in dental they have called Dental University, and you take these courses if you want to take them as well, and they're completely for free. So if you want to learn more extra skills, guess what? You have it there as well. So yeah, and that's what I was doing in dental. I mean, right now I'm kind of happy how I'm doing right now, and because I know before I was doing SEO, but this is what I'm doing, paid search, and it's going great for me, man. I'll be honest with you, it's going great for me.
That's so awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. I think you gave us a really good sense of what the job is like and how different it is from your other jobs. Yeah, and you just at the very beginning. So
Yeah,
we'll stay in touch. I definitely want to do a follow-up interview with you in like a year or so. But before we wrap up, and also can people reach out to you with any questions on LinkedIn?
yes, definitely. If you guys need help, if you feel you self-doubt yourself or anything, please let me know. I've been in that position before. Trust me. Just remember what you came here for. Just remember you got to grind yourself to get there. I understand that. I've been through that. Just a couple of months ago, I was definitely sleeping I was in a small little bedroom with my wife and my two kids. And yeah, I got, when I have an apartment, I have a roof on my head, which I pay now and everything. So is, also my wife. So we're good. We're good, man. That's one thing that I'm really accomplished for right now. And it's not over yet, man. It's not over. I'm going to reach for bigger things, not just.
That's so great, man. And I think you kind of, it's funny, you're almost like anticipating my questions, because I was going to ask if you had anything to say to me or anyone watching. I guess I think that what you said was really good for people who are in the course, but do you have anything to say to me or anybody watching the video, maybe who hasn't taken the course?
Yes, take the course. If you could spend $600 on a college textbook, you could afford this text and it could change your whole life. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you, with this course is the most ethical, the most accurate thing that you're learning, up to date with Google, with Bing's, Facebook, SEO. Seth, I'm telling you, thank you for this course. Honestly, without this course, I really don't know what I would do in my life right now at the moment. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I honestly, with this course, I'll be honest with you, it changed my life, and for the better. And I know it's going to be even way better when I start getting to catch up in what I'm doing as well. And yeah, man, you changing lives, man. I'll be honest with you, changing a lot of people's lives in this. You're doing great things, man. You also, instead of you advocating for, with you basically advocating that you could achieve college with no with no college degree. There's more to that. And everything's changing now. You know what I mean? Everything's changing, and you're teaching that, man. You bringing light to that. I know a lot of kids are programmed into that mentality of college, and you're bringing that light, man. You're saying like, look, there's more to this, and yeah, man, honestly, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. It was my pleasure. And yeah, dude, I'm really happy for you. This is why I do it. And I'm happy to, make a difference with you and your family and everything. And I'm glad you're enjoying your job. Like I said, I can relate because I had the same thing, man. I worked so many stupid jobs before I found digital marketing too.
Yes,
so
yes.
You'll never go back. You're just going to go forward. So thanks so much for sharing yourself, man. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to your story. Guys, you can reach out to Jeysson on LinkedIn. I'm putting his link in the video. We're going to stay in touch. I'll follow up with you. And it was great chatting with you, and have a great rest of your evening.
You too, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate being here.